Dave Gettleman speaking.
Dave, this is Joe Schoen. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Hey, Joe. No, not really. I was just parsing through some old photos in the attic, and apparently there was some unopened mail from Ed McMahon telling me I may have already won $1 million. Not really sure how he got my address, but if it's not too late to cash in, I'd like to try and get a hold of him.
Dave, Ed McMahon died about 15 years ago, and I'm pretty sure that whole thing was a direct-to-consumer marketing scam from the 80s.
Oh, really? Well, I guess that explains why the people at Publishers Clearinghouse kept telling me I had them confused with some other sweepstakes. Last year, I was in the mix for one of their grand prizes, and they never even announced the winners.
Publishers Clearinghouse, I think they declared bankruptcy last January.
That figures. Anyway, how's life in the NFL?
Well, it's the bye week, and we're sitting in last place at 2-11. I'm freaking out because I was supposed to address the media 35 minutes ago. Instead, I'm locked in my office with Pat Hanlon knocking on the door and John Mara leaving voice messages every 5 minutes telling me to get my ass to the podium. I don't know what to do. Is there any way I can get out of doing this presser?
Afraid not. At 2-11, it's safe to say you're going to have to gargle the whole hog and pray your mascara doesn't start running.
Damn, that's what I thought. Okay, so what should I say when I get up there?
Full transparency, Joe. No bullshit. That arrogant douchebag stuff worked when I was GM, but nowadays it's a brand new ball game. People are tired of being lied to. They think the league is rigged, the commissioners bought, and the players don't care. You'll throw them off balance if you act meek about the whole thing. Try to be as literal and as self-deprecating as possible. You do that, you're guaranteed to pull on a few emotional heartstrings.
Try to be as literal as possible. What do you mean by that?
For instance, if that son of a gun Pat Leonard tries to twist your scrotum with one of his trap questions, you just say, "I understand your question," and then you literally explain why you understand it. That way you're just repeating his question back to him without saying much of anything.
Sounds like you've been coaching up Dave's. Anyway, how self-deprecating should I be?
I'd go all in, Joe. People respond with empathy to emotional cues. Do this. Walk up to the podium and start acting visibly shaken, like you just witnessed your wife getting gloriously pounded by the neighbor and you had to watch the whole thing while hiding in the closet of your own bedroom. I'm speaking from experience when I tell you everybody feels sorry for a nebbish little schnook who's just been cucked.
Okay, well, what about all the draft busts? They're going to want some answers for that.
This is where you get to give the public a full dose of the type of honesty they're really craving. But give them something vague. No need to go into agonizing detail and explain all the ridiculous methods you used to pick a player that had all the other war rooms laughing at their draft boards. And don't be afraid to call out the players by name. They'll be out of the building by the time they try to pull a Steve Smith.
I'm glad you said that because we've got some players with major character issues. Our 3rd overall pick from this year keeps missing meetings. Our 6th overall from last year is accusing the coaches of throwing games. And our 7th overall from 2022, who doesn't even play anymore, referred to himself as a king and called the fans a bunch of hamburger flippers.
Oy vey. Sounds like you picked the kind of boogers that came out of my nose this morning. But looky here, Joe, you want to play up the idea that these guys are still playing with blocks and learning their ABCs. They're young and don't quite know how to conduct themselves as professionals. If the media asks why there's no leadership for these guys acting out of turn, remind everyone in the room just how delicate a flower these young men really are at 6'3", 245 pounds.
Right, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what? Hanlon is really getting impatient. Okay, Dave, thanks for the advice. I got to go now.
Damn it, Joe, get out here.
Let me start off with, 2 wins is not where we want to be right now. It's not good enough. I understand the frustration from fans, ownership, the people inside the building, and nobody's more frustrated than myself. And it starts with me, and I'm tasked with trying to hit on a top 5 pick that we won't end up flipping 2 years later for a mid-7th round pick. And let me just say, we did try to shop Evan Neal for that much, and unfortunately, all I heard on the other end of the phone was uproarious laughter, so I just hung up. As for the coaching changes we made earlier in the year, this is the first time I've spoke with you guys since we moved on from Coach Dayball and Shane Bowen. Dave's and I have an extended history together, professionally and personally. And it's a sad thing when your fat friend loses his job, because you just know he's going to be doing a lot of emotional eating and watching daytime soaps on the couch. But let's face it, somebody had to go, and better him than me. So let the guy get as fat as he wants. It's his problem now. As for the roster, I do believe there is a good young core to build around here, and it will be an attractive job for many coaches, including potential general managers, especially if John Mara saw how badly the entire chat was roasting me on the live stream while I was hiding in my office for 40 minutes, hoping I wouldn't have to come up here and face the music. With that, I'll open it up for any questions you guys might have.
You mentioned that your focus is getting Giants back to routine contention and really turning this around.
Yep.
Why do you believe that you're the right person to help turn this thing around?
Yeah, I understand the question, and here's how I'd explain my understanding of it. Grammatically speaking, the word why introduces a question. The word do forms the question in the present tense. The word you is the person you're addressing, and the word believe is the action the person is performing. So you're asking the question, why do I believe, and then adding the clause, you're the right person for the job, to the end of the sentence. Again, I understand your question, but I'm a little surprised you asked it that way, because as a professional journalist, you should know it's not grammatically correct to end a sentence with a prepositional phrase. Has it been perfect? No. But I'm very confident in my staff, myself, and our ability to get this franchise back where it needs to go.
Where does that confidence come from? You're 2-11 at this time last year. You were saying you're close, and you're in the exact same spot now. So what gives you that confidence?
Yeah, what gives me the confidence? I understand your question. If you look at it, the word what is the subject. The word gives is the verb that tells what the subject does. And the word confidence answers what is being given. So what am I giving myself? I'm giving myself confidence.
What has ownership told you about your future, and have you been given any assurances that you'll be seeing the coaching search into next year through?
Well, Jordan, a wise man, once told me that people are tired of being lied to. So I'm just going to be fully transparent here. John Mara probably consulted a magic 8 ball when he decided to hire me as general manager of the New York Giants. Where we are right now isn't good enough, and it needs to change. Go ahead, Pat.
Thanks. You and Brian Daboll came in and worked as a collaborative pairing. So why is he held accountable for the results after 4 years, but you are not?
Yeah, I understand the question there too, Pat. And again, I'm equally as, my hand's in it just like Brian's is. And ownership made a decision to move on. And again, I'm going to do what I can control, which is to continue wearing a blindfold while throwing darts at the draft board and hope one of these overgrown bastards can make a difference. Because frankly, I'm ready to include the entire first 2 draft classes in a murder-suicide for putting my job security at risk.
You said that you support Kathy, whatever decision he makes with that duel. But are you concerned that this could be a lingering situation?
No.
Why?
I have a lot of faith in the people in the building and the resources that we have. Abdul's a young man that's 21 years old, that's smart and understands the magnitude of his actions, and also understands what it means to be a pro. And these kids are 21 years old, and they're thrust in the spotlight in New York City. This is just my personal opinion, but I'd raise both the drinking age and the voting age to at least 45. In fact, anyone under 30 shouldn't even be allowed to drive. You don't just hand anyone the keys to a moving vehicle. It's too much responsibility, and I'd be willing to bet every insurance company in the country would agree.
Defensive side of the ball, you've invested a significant amount of resources in there, whether it's draft picks, whether it's free agent dollars, players you've let go, but the guys that you've decided you want to turn the defense around with. Mm-hmm. To have the defense be in the current state that it is, wildly underwhelming or underperforming at this point. I mean, what went wrong, and how do you need to change? Because these are your guys. This is the guys the organization pinpointed to add, and it's been a failure to this point.
Well, for one thing, we hired a defensive coordinator who wanted to give opposing offenses 7 seconds to throw the ball. In fact, it was Dave's himself who told Bowen that if we gave the quarterback 7 seconds, they'd have enough time to drive to a Wendy's and order the spicy chicken. Now, I'm not sure how long it takes to order the spicy chicken, but a lot of people say the quality of food service at that restaurant has gone down lately, so it's definitely possible.
Joe, what do you view as your part in 5 wins in the last 30 games? Because you said it starts with me.
Yeah.
But what specifically do you think you have failed on, and how is it translating in losses on the field? Where you say, is it drafting? Is it free agency? How do you view it? How do you?
It's 5 wins the last 2 years, Pat. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like you can go through. I'm not going to make excuses. It's not good enough. I don't want to go through individually. Different scenarios. There's context to a lot of things, but it's 5 wins. It's not good enough, and we've got to get better.
Would you agree it's fair to talk about the details a little bit though, because like several coaches have lost their jobs now because they weren't good enough. So, what is your part specifically?
I understand your question. You're asking me how I've specifically failed as a GM in free agency and the draft. You're also wondering how that translates to the product on the field. You're also asking if those details deserve to be discussed because several coaches have lost their jobs over it. I fully understand the words coming out of your mouth, along with the meaning that they are forming in a sentence.
Joe, are you prepared, Joe, if once these 4 games, once the season is over, if John and Steve and anyone else in ownership bring you into a room to prove to them, to convince them that you're the right guy to move forward as general manager here?
I understand your question. You're asking me if I'm ready to go into a room with the Maris to prove I'm the right guy, and that behind closed doors carries a level of innuendo behind your question as to how far I'm willing to go, and if that includes sexual favors, would I be willing to perform them in order to keep my job?
You say, why are we not maximizing what we have? I think some people would say you don't have enough. So I'm asking,
and that's fine.
Where have you erred in that as far as composing the roster, building the roster, keeping draft picks on the roster who have not contributed, who don't look like they're going to contribute into the future, and who create depth issues on the roster that seem to become glaring issues when these games are on the line?
They're all gonna laugh at you! They're all gonna laugh at you! They're all gonna laugh at you!
Pat, I'm not surprised you keep asking me these trap questions because Dave Gettleman said you were going to try to twist my scrotum. You think if I could go back in time, I wouldn't give Abdul Carter a sleep timer as soon as he got in the building? I'm forever the ass clown who gave the Eagles a Super Bowl when they probably wouldn't have even made the playoffs last year. 4 years later, this roster looks like Dave Gettleman snuck in here and wearing a Joe Schoen mask and kept piling up the trash heap. So why don't you just go ahead and write your damn column and piss off?
Okay, everybody, I think that's enough. And Joe, you can step off the podium now.